All right, good afternoon, everyone. Kenneth Price on Sunday, I'm getting old, I can't read. Sunday, May 28th, 12 noon Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Time. Or, I don't know, maybe this is over 100 Zoom calls. Anyway, Kenneth Price for the ministry that we are hosting. I'm not going to use the I form. I'm going to switch the pronouns. Our ministry, the ministry we're hosting, psychiatricsobriety.com. What do we do here? Who am I? Why do we join? What's this all about? Let's see. Somebody else joined the Zoom room. I'm going to do the gallery view. Oh, hi, Greg. Give me 5 minutes, Greg. So anyway, my name's Kenneth Price. I'm a 56-year-old man, and I'm psychiatrically sober. I'm off of all of my medications, all of them. And so it was a lot of hard work. I spent 25 years of my life on countless pills. This is my 5-minute introduction. Countless pills by well-meaning doctors who were trying to fix my dream character. And my dream character just kept getting worse and worse and worse. So more and more pills. We'll go into all that. What did I do? I got on my knees and I said, God help. And God said, all right, we're going to show you who you are. You're not a dream character. You're not a cartoon character. So stop all this nonsense and madness and get reconnected. And so I said, all right, I'll do whatever you want me to do. And so, all right, first things first, get off those pills. So that was a lot of work. But you know, by the grace of God and with a lot of help, angelic help, which angelic help. Anyway, got off all those pills, and then, you know, higher power said, you know, share what you've learned, extend what you've learned, because you can't keep it unless you share it. So this is why, this is how psychiatric sobriety was born. We come here every Sunday morning, and we share it, how we all got reconnected, how we all are getting reconnected, how we're all rising above the battleground of pharmacology. So if you want what we have and are willing to go to any lengths to get it, you're willing to take certain steps. That's why I use 12-step language, because I'm a 12-stepper from way back. And this is just the format that Bill W. started back in the 30s. It works. I'm not reinventing the wheel, but we're adding a lot of metaphysics to this that Bill W. did not have. So thank you, Bill W. If anybody doesn't know who he is, he's the founder of Alcoholics Anonymous. One of the things that's different is I'm working with a very tenuous demographic. So I throw in disclaimers in my introduction every time, because getting off these pills is not to be done recklessly. Getting off of these pills is a decision we've made. We're not telling anyone else they need to make that decision. As a matter of fact, these are very powerful medications. So please consult your doctor, get outside help for the actual, if that is your decision, because we don't go into anything medical here. We simply are not qualified, and I'm not qualified. I don't have that credentials. I'll share openly how I did mine. It's all on my website. So that's my one disclaimer. And we're not here to protest psychiatry, because if we do, we're going to go straight back into our mental illness. So that's kind of like my 3-minute introduction so far. Usually it goes on for 5 minutes. All right, it's a ministry. And because it's a ministry, it's all got to be guided by spirit. So as like we do at the beginning of every Zoom call, we say the healer's prayer. Let's see if I can recite from memory. We are here only to be truly helpful, and we are here to represent him or her who sent us. We do not have to worry about what to say or what to do, because he or she who sent us will direct us. We are content to be wherever he or she wishes, knowing that he or she goes there with us. And we will emerge from this madness as we help to teach and guide others how we emerge from our madness. I torqued the last two sentences. Forgive me for doing that. All right, so beloved Greg, Jody, hi Mary, good to see you again. It's been being recorded for YouTube. We're on here for 1 hour, and then I stop the recording after 1 hour, and that's our format. On your mark, get set, go. How is everyone?
Good. Sorry for eating. Beloved always puts herself the video off, but I forgot. So I'm done. Didn't mean to be rude.
Greg, you're outside today. Beautiful. The greenery behind you matches the green shirt you're wearing. Mary, can I put you on the spot? How you been? It's been a while.
I've missed you every.
We got a troubled connection. You froze.
Sorry. Hear me?
Just barely. Every other word. How's your Wi-Fi connection?
Probably not great. Let me do something else.
Yeah, maybe you could. There. You're back.
I'll go to my laptop. I'll see you in a minute. Sorry.
You want to try it without the video. Sometimes if we turn the video, I don't know. Someone told me to turn the video off, it can free up bandwidth. I don't know if that's true.
I'm gonna go on my laptop.
Okay.
I'm gonna go on my laptop. I'll see you in a minute.
Right. I'll see you in a minute.
All right.
Let's talk Jody. Thank you. That was a beautiful interview we did yesterday. Jody, we're getting the message. The message is coming through us and it's going out. That was beautiful. And even if it doesn't, we don't, get a whole lot of hits, it's been imprinted into the Akashic records. So, I'm always looking at the hit counter, but I had to stop and say, Kenneth, the Akashic records, have a new band frequency that can't be quantified. Yeah. For anybody who doesn't know, Jody and I did a little bit over an hour interview yesterday for her YouTube, Journey of the Lotus. And we're both, very excited about this proposition, of showing others light in this darkness. And our darkness had to do with pharmacology or mental illness.
It was a really good practice for all sorts of things. And it gave me the opportunity to speak to a client later about feeling the fear and doing it anyway. Because about, I don't know, half an hour before we started, I started freaking out. All of the fear came up and I didn't want to do it. I wanted to cancel the whole thing. And so that's really fitting for what we were talking about last week, because that's the ego voice. And I love how Keith Kavanaugh, and I wish I had brought this up yesterday, because Keith Kavanaugh says it so beautifully. It's the insane voice talking to itself. That's the fear thoughts, right? So I can choose, once I have that awareness that I am having these thoughts, I can choose to listen, or I can choose to follow my heart and do it anyway. And so it was a very beautiful opportunity, at the very least, for me to talk to a client last night about it's okay to feel the fear. It's okay to hear those voices. Don't follow them, watch it. Just look at it. And I love, again, Keith Kavanaugh made it so simple for me. Just get up there in the theater with Jay and watch the show. Don't judge it. Don't try to fix it. Just get up there. I love how Michael Singer calls it the seat of awareness. It's a similar thing. Get up out of it. Get out of it and watch it. So simple, so amazing. So yeah, it was a great interview, and it wasn't done to get a bunch of attention. It would be great if it does, because the messages are powerful. Kenneth has a powerful story, and so do I. So yeah, it was great.
Yeah, Jody, thanks. I think within the first 10 minutes, you got the title for this YouTube, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. Yeah, I had to. That's why we're broadcasting, why we're joining, is we're sharing with others. Just like I said in the interview, that Tyrannosaurus Rex that was chasing me wasn't a Tyrannosaurus Rex trying to eat me. It was a playful puppy dog. Each person's going to have to turn around and face that. We want to invite them, encourage them, support them to face what is the illusion. And thank you for bringing that up. The crazy voice in my head. I've been using Keith Kavanaugh's pointers for 3 weeks, all day long, all morning long, as I'm convinced All right, talk about transparency. I'm convinced that David and his wife are going to come back, in 2 weeks and just criticize the remodeling work I've done. That's a perfect example of the crazy voice in my head. A perfect. Now, this is my disclosure, and these are what we call in the Course in Miracles private thoughts. They're not private thoughts. As a matter of fact, I'm going to broadcast them all over the internet. My crazy voice is telling me that they're going to come back to Cincinnati, Ohio, and start finding fault with my carpentry and my engineering. And I just keep returning to Keith Kavanaugh's, that's the crazy voice in my head. That was the mental illness. That was the Tyrannosaurus Rex that was chasing me for decades, that I was medicating. I was medicating a little puppy dog. And it was simply an oops. Mary, you're back online.
Can you hear me okay now?
Now you're back online.
Okay, yeah. Sorry about that. How's everybody doing?
Oh, we've been rocking and rolling. We've missed you.
I missed you guys too.
How you been?
Well, this is the busy time of year for my music studio. So my students have had a lot of competitions, and we're getting ready to do our final exam, which is why it's been really hard to get on. But yeah, as of June 12th, I'm on summer vacation, sort of. So I have a freer life and I'll be able to join more. But yeah, I've been good. I've been doing Course in Miracles. And that's been, wow. It sounds trite to say it's life-changing, but it is. And I have one of my very best friends is doing Course in Miracles. And so we spend a lot of time discussing, what comes up. Good stuff.
You're getting a big chuckle out of Jody. Yeah. I mean,
to say
Jody,
that it's life-changing is the understatement of the century, Mary. For me. And I haven't even read the book yet. I'm just working with The Disappearance of the Universe and then the 3 books that come after that. I'm still trying to work through that, and then I can move into the Course in Miracles.
I have The Disappearance of the Universe too. It's an amazing book. Wow.
What finally dawned on me, and Keith got through to me. I've been a student of David's for years, and then I all of a sudden, for some reason, David ended and Keith entered. And I'll never explain how this stuff works. Keith explained what I intuitively knew, but he put words to it. He said the Course in Miracles cannot speak to the ego. It speaks to a higher, for most of us, dormant seed. And when that seed is ready to germinate, the language used in the Course in Miracles is able to penetrate the shell. Those aren't his exact words, but I'm just trying to put it into my language. So I get excited when someone is actually, because if the seed is not ready, all seeds germinate. But if the seeds, still gotta, if it's still December and, the seed can only, germinate in the spring, it's still got, January and February to go through. But if it's March or April and the seed is ready to germinate, the sun's coming out, spring is on its way, then we'll be able to, for some reason, that book won't leave us alone. Those teachings, it's not the book, it's the teachings, it's the message. It chases us. It's a dangerous book. Get away from me now. Because it's speaking to a higher truth that we intuitively know is ready to come out of the cocoon. Mm-hmm. If the ego picks it up, the ego says, this is gobbledygook. Yeah, to the ego, it is gobbledygook. So it's, interesting. It's a fascinating, and I'm thrilled for you, Mary. Welcome home.
Thank you. It does feel like home too. It feels like, I keep telling my friend Deborah, who is also doing Course in Miracles, I think for the 3rd time in her case, because she goes day by day and does a different lesson. But I keep telling her, I feel like I'm remembering the stuff I knew when I was a little kid.
Oh, good.
Oh, that's landing.
Yeah. So it's not really new. It's a remembering.
Yeah.
There. Jody and I covered that yesterday. Welcome home.
Yeah.
I I don't want to pollute that with a lot of words. Who wants to go next?
You know, you talked about it, the dream. I think you've talked about that dream before. I remember you talking about that dream. I've started having dreams about my parents, and my father's been passed for, I don't know, 25 years. And my mom's still on the earth, but we had a very difficult relationship and had to finally kind of part ways, even though she's quite old now. But they've been appearing to me in dreams, and I really do think it's triggered by the Course in Miracles, because we're working stuff out, and this is heavy. This is heavy stuff, having your parents come to you in dreams.
Yeah.
I will share, Mary, that my mental illness were grievances towards and I tried with as best I could. I tried everything on the movie screen to heal those grievances. I tried everything. I mean, I've said that 1,000 times in these Zoom calls, and the data isn't. It didn't work.
Yeah.
When Spirit began to show me my ancestral story from Spirit's perspective, then I was, and I said this in yesterday's Zoom call, the interview with Jody. That's when the anger finally transitioned to sadness. And I'm still in that sadness because it's just beginning. But like I said yesterday, we have bargaining. Well, first we have denial, we have bargaining, we have anger, and then comes the sadness. And then comes the acceptance, the 5 levels of grief, according to Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. It was a sign of emergence that I'm beginning to accept the dream character story. That means I can let it go. It's sadness part. My teacher, David Hoffmeister, he says feelings they have to come out of hibernation. That's why it's work. Mine's work. It hurts. I was at Lowe's this morning. I'll take sadness over anger any day.
Yeah, I can kind of identify with that. Anger going into sadness. Yeah, I was angry at first about family too. Now it's almost like pity. So, I was talking to Jody, and I'll share this with y'all. I've heard you say it's not benzo symptoms, it's spiritual awakening symptoms. And I started to it's been over 2 years now, and I started doing the research. And this really, just Googling things, and what I've gone through is a little bit more, there's obviously the hell of benzo withdrawal, but it's also a Kundalini waking, a lot of the symptoms of it. And I was looking at a lot of the physical symptoms of spiritual awakening, and a lot of those are benzo withdrawal symptoms. So about a couple of weeks ago, I just finally realized that this really is. It's got all the mystical elements of it. It's got everything. So it really is a spiritual awakening. And to tell you the truth, it almost freaked me out a little bit, because when you're in touch with the divine that deeply, you're almost psychotic. So yeah, it's been very special. It's been very precious, and it's been, I say it again and again. I say that it was heartbreaking. The beauty and the joy it's almost heartbreaking, So yeah, I just thought of y'all, and that's actually what it is. It actually is a spiritual awakening. I didn't know that, but I started Googling it, and that's what it is. So
and we got that archive, Greg. This is now going to go on YouTube for so many others who also have been given a narrative, a disempowering narrative that can now be, seen from the narrative that emerged, began my emergence. When I began to make that discovery, it was back on the freeway, towards the meadow, out of the dark forest. It's no longer a trail. It became a freeway in my story. Welcome home too, buddy.
Yeah. Well, it was, the one thing I identified with, I kept seeing again and again, Dark Night of the Soul, just what Kenneth said. So Yeah, yeah, it's kind of making sense what you said the whole damn time. You know, when I just kind of shifted my perspective, you know, from physical to spiritual.
Yeah.
The spiritual was kicking my ass anyways, because I could not ignore that. I just didn't have the terminology until a couple of weeks ago. You know,
remember, Greg, you're also a 12-stepper. Remember one of the scrolls on the wall used to say, came to believe.
Yeah.
Good work, Greg.
Thank you.
I live for these aha moments when others begin to get these little, what do they call it? Call aha moments. I don't know what else to call them. It's just what I live.
Epiphanies.
Yeah.
Epiphany, another good word. Yeah. It's the essay, What a Shaman Sees in a Mental Hospital.
Yeah.
We go over every week.
And you can hear people talk about it and think you understand, but you don't understand until you have that aha moment where you see it for yourself.
In my story, Spirit just kept explaining it to me over and over. So it was landing. I couldn't stop. I said, for some reason, I'm supposed to be devouring these metaphysics. I don't know why. Well, I kind of do know why, but I just kept bringing them in until one day there was a blip. Oh yeah. I'm not a cartoon character.
Yeah. I want to get off the next one now. This has been such a ride. I want to get off the next one, right now, but it's going to take a while. It's probably going to it might be a year, but this was so special, that I want to just do the next one too. But it's going to take time.
One of the things
body's got to heal. Huh? Go ahead.
No, I don't want to interrupt you. Sorry.
No, just the physical body has to heal first. I have to see our Ayurvedic doctor and a homeopath probably for a long time before I can do the next one. But yeah, it'll happen. It'll happen. And I realize it really is, these things are like a block between you and your soul. They really are. I mean, they really inhibit a lot of things.
In the Bible, sorry.
No. I would just say too, it's, we think of spiritual enlightenment. For me, I've always thought of it like transcending to some higher level, but it is that, but it's also extremely humbling. It's very, very, you do feel like a child of God. You feel like a child again. So that was the biggest thing for me, has been. Go ahead, Mary.
No, in the Bible, they talk about pharmakia, from which the word pharmacy comes from, and how that's a type of sorcery that would remove you or distance you from your soul.
Really?
And I mean, whether you're just trying to numb the pain of everyday life, or you stumble into it, indirectly, like taking something as a sleeping aid or whatever, however your path to that is. It might feel good to have a little vacation from your emotions for a little while, but if it becomes a day-by-day thing, you're being distanced from your soul.
Yeah.
We were all in our soul when we were born, and we were all in our soul until little by little we were distanced from that. So it shouldn't feel like ascension. It should feel like coming home. It should feel very grounding in some ways.
Yeah.
But when I was going through, if any of you know my story, I think most of you do. I went cold turkey off Valium after almost 4 years, and I went through a severe withdrawal. But I would not restart. I'm a very stubborn person. Even in the face of possible death, I would not restart. And I was at one point in the most deep part of the crisis, I realized that my 8th chakra is opening. I'm going into, and that's the Kundalini thing. I was aware of that. That was part of what helped me. I was aware that something spiritual is happening here. And when I realized that, and I felt God's presence so strongly, I didn't feel afraid anymore. And not that I would ever advise anyone to do what I did, because I could have died. But at that moment, I was so far in. Someone told me later, by the time I got to this spiritual moment, I really was out of the woods for the most part. I was going to have a seizure or have something terrible happen. It would have happened earlier in my withdrawal, because this was like week 3. But it was very helpful to me to know that I wasn't alone, because I had felt alone for so long. And I don't mean felt alone through the withdrawal. I had felt alone for years. And suddenly, when I should have been most alone, I did not feel alone.
I felt very, I think the word for me was solitude, is what I felt, and what I had to do, and periodically I still have to do. I have to withdraw from society. And I've always been a fan of Henry David Thoreau. Do y'all know who he is? Oh, Wild One. He wrote that in solitude, and I revisited it. And, he's always been precious to me. He's always been a fellow, as you put it, mighty companion. But I really know what he did, by going to the Walden Pond and, withdraw from it all. So, yeah, I know that too. It's a special place to be, it's sacred. So,
yeah.
Greg, you had brought, I want to go back to something you said, because Mary confirmed it, and I did not confirm it several Zoom calls back, so now I can. You were correct, Greg. These medications do disconnect us. And I don't know if you remember, but I was talking and talked over that, but I don't want to talk over it now. I want to address it. Thank you for bringing that up. And again, from the highest spirits perspective, we can't be disconnected. But our perception at this level is that these medications do disconnect us. So thank you, Mary, for confirming that with a biblical quote that I wasn't aware of.
Yeah, where is that, Mary? Do you know where
the word is? Pharmakia. It's throughout the Bible. It's spelled like pharmacy, Phar. Okay, it's gonna get funky. Pharma is the normal way, Pharma, and then I think it's Keia. It's probably Latin, but it's just look up pharma with a K. And it'll I'm sure your search will come up with it, but it's throughout the Bible. Pharmakia if you go to the Hebrew, it means sorcery. But it was any kind of substance someone could take that would put them in a trance or take them, anything that would separate you from your soul. And it was considered to be, something very dark, like dark arts, and something. It was almost like a black witchcraft. But I think it was largely, it meant substances.
I saw somebody mentioned that on the Facebook group, and everybody laughed at her, but I guess that's probably what they were talking about.
Oh, it's legit. You dig into it. And the more you read about what pharmakia is, the more you'll be like, oh yeah, they knew about this like a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's all by design. System's not broken. It was created this way. How's Beloved doing? You're so quiet.
Yeah, Beloved.
And still.
Hey, I'm listening. Everybody, just listening and feeling emotional for some reason, y'all. I just feel emotional. Just good to see everybody. And thanks, Greg, for Gabor Mate.
Oh, you started with him?
Oh my goodness. And he has a book out called The Myth of Normal.
About that too. Yeah.
I have it too. Yeah.
I mean, come on, everybody who's been ever diagnosed with anything.
Mm-hmm.
This is something to pick up and read. I mean, he gives this analogy of if you were planting a healthy seed in the ground,
Mm-hmm.
and the ground just was so poisonous, right? The it wasn't fertile, it didn't have any nutrients or anything, but you're going to take that seed and fix it, right? The seed's wrong because it's not blooming, but nobody's considering the toxic environment this seed was planted in. And he gives that. You see, if you're not crazy, how did you miss it?
Mm-hmm.
Right? We're in an environment to be crazy and run around like normal with drugs to help or whatever it is. You see? And I think that's so key, because when you get a diagnosis, or it's really something's wrong with you, and it isn't, just gets right. You're trying to fix something that's not broke. Kenneth says this all the time. You're just dealing the best you can in this crazy environment you find yourself in. And you're going to have some weird adaptations, because that's how you kept sane. And I just like that. I like that, because I don't know how I couldn't have been crazy with the things I was grown up in to believe, and all the programs in society, and the way everything's supposed to be this way, and it never is, no matter how hard you try to be good. Any good girls? I'm a good girl. Anytime you try to be good and perfect. So I like Gabor Mate, and I have never been on pills, but he dealt with addicts. He was an addiction doctor, and he asked one of his heroin people, what is heroin? Why do you take it? Now, I did not know heroin is a benzo. Did you know that?
What do you mean?
Yeah, it works like a benzo.
Are you serious?
Yes, I didn't know that, because we all are always talking about benzodiazepines or whatever you say. And so he's talking about it. And so this guy says, oh my God, when I take heroin, I just feel like I'm just loved and so warm. And the way he described it, Gabor's like, well, damn. Yeah, I can see why. And that's when he equated to what benzos do. They make you feel this comfort and warmth and all at first.
Yeah.
At first.
Right. Yeah.
And then blah, blah, blah. But I didn't know that. So for anybody else who's not familiar with things like that, one's illegal, one's prescribed. I just want to make that clear here.
Yeah.
So we're not talking to people who are just grabbing drugs willy-nilly. We're talking to people who have been prescribed this stuff by doctors. And no blame. We're not here to attack anybody. But we are here to say, really go into what's happening. And like Jody said, and my coach has really brought to my attention, is for my case with my mental illness, let's say, I create chaos. And it starts in my head, and then it spreads around everybody who I come around with. And she's like, watch that pattern. See, I didn't know it was a pattern. It's so ingrained in me. It's so automatic. Why? That was my protection. I had to, that was my way of protecting myself through my toxic environment. So I'm just a goddamn hurricane when I get whipped up, and I'm going to mess up everybody. Yeah. So So seeing this, and the other thing, two more things I want to say. Jody and I talked after the last meeting, and I just couldn't get this sitting in with Jesus watching the movie screen because I saw Raina watching Raina. No, there's no Raina. There's no person sitting with Jesus. There's no Jesus, body Jesus. It's not that. It's like the sky watching the clouds or the ocean watching the splash. You got to be the ocean. You got to be the sky. And then you can watch this stuff. And I was playing with my Wii yesterday. That's a great thing. If you have a Wii, or make your little avatar character and just say, that's me, and try to believe it. That's me. Well, that's me. And that's what we do when we believe we're just this person. That's why when we're here, everybody's a miracle here, because everybody was told they can't do what they did or they're doing.
Yeah.
All of us have said, I had to be on this, this, and this. They said forever.
Right.
And they said, it's like wearing glasses or brushing my teeth. This is going to be my life. That's what they told me. I said,
like
I don't brush my teeth and I don't wear glasses.
Yeah. I heard it's like diabetes. It can be managed, but you can never be cured. That's the analogy here again and again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got to jump in real quick. I said to Greg, first I said to Mary, welcome home. Then I said to Greg, welcome home. 2 days ago, I said to Jody, welcome home. So now I get to the last but not least, beloved, welcome home.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
That's all we need to know.
And one more thing that I found I was doing, I was feeling bad. And I was taking that to mean I was bad. No, feeling bad means you're not in your right mind. You're in the ego thought system again. And you need to go turn towards love and light. It doesn't mean you're being bad. That's what I was doing. I'm like, I'm feeling bad. Oh man, what am I doing wrong? No, you're feeling bad. Oh, what are you thinking? Your thinking's wrong. And we really, I have to be vigilant. I have a tendency to depression. I have to be vigilant on my frequency. I have to be how am I feeling? Where are my thoughts wandering off to? That's been programmed for so long in this, and I am a course student. I don't want to discourage anybody. I'm slow, 20 years or so. So I'm just going to say, some of us takes a little longer, and I'm a much better student now because it is practical. I will tell you that. Without it, Mary, I wouldn't be as well as I am, as able to know I'm crazy and know what sanity is. That's the big thing, to know sanity and know when I'm crazy or not sane, not in my right mind, thinking I'm a person, a body, and that's it. We're all here to be called. We're all here talking to spiritual beings, actually. We're all miracles talking together, and we're all here light telling everybody, yes, anything's possible. Miracles happen. We're all miracles sitting here, and we're saying, if you want this miracle for you, we're here to support you in your journey. We're here to, in any way our experiences can help. So thank you, everyone. You've helped me so much.
Beloved, you've just described the practice. It was just recently, and I've been honest with this group the whole time, about my process, and all of us have. And it was when I found Keith Kavanaugh that the practice began to kick into high gear. That I said it in yesterday's interview with Jody. Now I discovered my spiritual awakening wasn't a ray of light from, well, I mean, there were a few rays of lights, but it was more like, I've got a choice now. It's the first ray of light is this, now I can do something Before I was a victim, now I'm back in the drive. Here we go again. Am I in the driver's seat or the passenger seat? I don't want to have that conversation.
Just get in the car.
Get in the car.
That's what Tina said. Tina said, just get in the fucking car.
Oh, Tina. Love you, Tina.
Yes. Yes.
She's obviously still with us.
Obviously.
And you know, like I said, what was it last Sunday, Jody? It's not an upset, it's a setup. I've been pissed off every day here at the Peace House, you know. And I said, you know what? I have to take. Why am I choosing this? Why am I choosing anger again? It's because I keep going back. My anger is all victim. Look what they're doing to me. Oh, this is a lot of work. But you know, this is the only work. This is priority over everything else. And they told me, my counselor in treatment, you know, when I went for, this was even before the benzo. I've got a story. Before the benzo, my treatment center counselor 17 years ago, she said, recovery's got to come first, kiddo, or else you ain't gonna have anything.
Right.
And so, yes, this comes first. The responsibility comes first. The stairs will get built after I've, you know, taken responsibility. My mental illness was put work first, and at the end of the day, you know, throw a little bit of pink paint over you throw pink paint over that shadow, won't work because the shadow is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. It's not that it's getting bigger, it's just that my capacity to hold it down, you know, it's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. Don't work.
I think we should look back at your fear of being criticized for your work that you've poured your heart and soul in. I think that for all of us, we have perhaps questioning our worth. You know, someone with your talent, just listen to me, Kenneth. Someone with your experience and talent, I don't normally probably wouldn't question their work, or even if somebody questioned it, wouldn't care because they're so confident in what they do. So it might be something that's coming out of you, you know, and that's a very vulnerable place to be. But that's what we're asked to do. We're asked to get so vulnerable, so open, so trusting, so everything we never wanted to be, with all of our walls and shutdowns and close-ups that we've been. This is what life is calling us to do, to just open up and just say thank you for everything. Katie called it, I'm a walking yes. Martha Beck said she wasn't going to lie for a year and it changed her whole life. I don't know if you read her book, but she's like, oh my God, crazy.
Well, then maybe I can become more transparent with the group and use this time to put something on the table, or on the altar is a better word. I got a call from the director yesterday with more instructions before I leave. And before he could finish, I started, you know, getting affirmative. No, no, no. I got really loud with my nose. And we started fighting. And I said, no more. And I don't have clarity. I have been feeling guilty for 24 hours. I didn't say yes. But inside of me, I'm feeling that my work here is complete, and I've already got, you know, plans. I've got a new client in Pittsburgh who's expecting me in 2 weeks. So my grievances are, you know, I'm not used to telling people no, but this time I had to say it with a loud voice. It's hard for me. Physically, I can't do what's being asked of me anymore. I've got to complete what's being asked and not add any more if I'm going to be out of here before they arrive, you know, on the 13th. But you're right, beloved. There's something down here that's saying I am my work, I am my performance, and criticizing is, you know, it goes back to a Course in Miracles lesson. There's got to be several Course in Miracles lessons that would be applicable to that. I don't know what anything means. I think I better go back to a 12-step slogan. More will be revealed.
Yeah.
I hear you. Yeah, I'm in the same place. I'm not, of course, in that, but I mean, I don't know. I'm in the, I don't know. I'm like, help. That's my prayer is help. I want to hear. How do I get still enough to feel my guidance? Our guidance led us here. And it's a miracle. All I can say, I've been clarifying my mind to get here, right? But I just still think it's a miracle because there's no there. It's a journey, people. We're not there. I'm not there. We're in a journey. It feels like it gets worse. Really, I've been on top of the world and thinking I couldn't feel like I feel right now. And it's just another level of my course lesson was I will not value what is valueless. So what is it that's making me feel bad? I'm not feeling worthy. I'm not feeling I'm enough. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? And really this judgment on this 3D level is still very strong for all of us who grew up in it. And this is what's happening. You're still in this judgment phase and we're trying to not judge. If we don't judge, we don't feel so judged. So because you're feeling judged, guess what? You must be a little judgy. That's the mirror. That's the Course of Miracles. It's just mirroring back, right, to you what the setup is. The setup is Kenneth. I mean, I believe in you. I don't think I've ever seen your work except your drawing. Maybe you showed me, you sent me pictures, but I mean, I think I would never question you. I don't even know why you would think like you think. You see what I'm saying? From my perspective, you know, in your head, it seems, you know, these things come up. We all got our setups. I'm probably thinking all ego thoughts right now to make me feel bad. And that just means, again, I'm like, oh, I'm not bad. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm listening to the wrong voice. And the thing, Mary, when you said, I came home and I feel like a child, you know, in the beginning, God was love. God, I trusted God 100,000%. And then when that fell through, then the Course brought me back to God as love. And now I could see I was never betrayed ever by God. Love never betrayed me. Love never left. I did. I left love. I left it. So yeah, it's a beautiful chance for you to heal. Get that frown off your face. You have to accept you're loved. You have to accept your greatness. You have to accept your worthiness. Really. And you have to give it to yourself. You can't wait for none of them to do it. Right? We all got to give it to ourselves. If I'm waiting for somebody to say, good job, might be a long time. Right? We really got to give ourselves a validation because we are a son of God. Period. It don't matter. You could have fucked up the stairs and you still be a son of God. I know you didn't fuck up the stairs, but you could have. And you would still be, and you still be a son of God.
Can I point out a nugget that you may have missed, and we all may have missed, but I got to point it out. It came straight from you, beloved. Basically, what I heard you say is we can't judge our advancements from our retreats. We can't. The dream character. We don't know.
And we shouldn't. You're right. Thank you for that. Because I feel I start judging myself because I should be more spiritual than this. I should be more blah, 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 blah. That's me, whatever I'm doing. I should be blah, 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 blah. Should be. Implying that I'm judging myself and comparing myself to what figure in my head. I don't know who. But, again, it's very insidious. And I think this judging thing, which I'm very good at, I want to give it up. I want to give it up. I'm addicted to judging. I am such a bitch. And who gets it? I do. I get it first before I deliver it to everybody else. And I see that. It's not nice. I'm not nice. I'm not nice to me. I'm not nice to. Are you nice to you? We got to be nice to ourselves. We got to be kind. I got to be kinder to me. That's what I'm seeing here. I mean, Greg is glowing. He looks like he's kind. Look at his beautiful view. That's kind. You're being kind to yourself. You're putting yourself in a beautiful space, fresh air. You're doing something kind that feeds you in a spiritual sense. That's also what I'm saying, that I have to feed my spiritual self and not this 3D self that I've been trying to stuff all day long, all my life, because it's never satisfied. It wants something else. It's just, that's not enough. I need, it's just seeking, never, that unsatisfactoriness. And then I get very unstable and I get very fearful because the ego likes to control everything and it has no control. It's a chaos. The ego is just chaos. So I see that, and I see that it really, that's why I'm saying the course is so practical.
Okay.
Because I can see I can see chaos. I'm so familiar with it. I'm so used to it. That is where my comfort zone is, unfortunately, or fortunately, at least, because it gave me the impetus to get out of it and seek peace of mind over everything else. Because the torture in your head, I mean, I think I could do physical pain much better than what's going on in my head. I don't know about anybody else, but this.
Can I share something that Jody and I also, we touched on, that was a great interview, by the way, it's something we touched on. These teachings or the message or whatever it wants to be called is accelerating right now. Look at us, beloved Greg, I think maybe Greg and Mary are a little, and Jody a little bit younger, but beloved, I'm just trying to say these messages are coming louder and louder and more frequently and more available for all of us. We can, maybe beloved, I'm in the same boat. I'm awfully hard on myself. They didn't give this at Melody Land Christian Center in 1977. I'm sure if they had it, they would have used it, but all they had was, never mind what they had. So, but now, not to judge poor Ralph Wilkerson if he's still alive.
And isn't it weird? Because, I mean, I was reading Edward Bach's stuff yesterday. He got it back in 1930. And the Baha'i faith, which is about these changing times, that came about in 1844. So it's just, so many people have been studying these times. So many people have been getting ready for these times. And, 1844, that's a pretty far long time ago. But then again, no, it wasn't, because, there's been a lot of people seeing these times for a long time. Well, I'll say for 100, 200 years, So, and we're finally, it feels like we're about to get to it. The Baha'i faith says this is going to be a 1,000-year transition, but I think we're starting to get into it a little bit more,
I'm glad you brought that up, Greg, because I'm biting at the, what's the term? Gnawing at the bit or something. Chomping at the bit, because Melody Land Christian Center said the end times is when fire's gonna rain on the earth. No! The end of the ego. It's not fiery goblins on Whitewood and Jesus. No, it's just the end of the ego, because it goes into the singularity, and it just, we can't do it anymore. Thank God. I'm tired of my ego. Anyway, who wants to? We got about 5 minutes left. Or maybe we're going to have Feel the Fear and do it anyway. Should we name this video The End of the Ego or The End Times? How about that?
The End of Times. I love that, Greg. And it's true. I mean, all the astrology, everybody's saying it. We're in, and it's comforting to me when I hear these people saying the energies are very intense now. So if you're feeling some kind of way, don't be surprised, because it's like the pressure cookers, you're being squeezed, and you're going to focus, and you're going to have to focus up, or you're going to focus this way, and that's our choice at this time, right? It's everybody's choice, no judgment, You're not tired of suffering. Go around that merry-go-round again. Those of us who think we're ready to get off that merry-go-round, let's do it. Let's make that choice. Let's choose love over. There's no fear, anyways. Like you said, it was a puppy.
Well, the Baha'i belief is that things are going to have to die, but we don't focus on the death. We focus on the next world, not this one.
Exactly.
So it's a difference of focus. I would say too, we got to give the hippies credit too, because they started feeling this a long time ago. That was part of it. They were feeling it. Age of Aquarius. What was that movie? What was that movie called?
Was it
Hair?
dawning of the Hair? Age. My favorite. I was in it. Not really.
Yeah.
Folks, I'm feeling that's it for the recording. We touched on some powerful and I would like to name this recording, just whimsically. How about the end of time and put like one of these, kind of a spoof, the Armageddon, graphic, but that's not what was referring to. That's the ego's perspective of the teaching.
The end of time, maybe with some fireworks and celebration.
Yes, and that's why I like this.
Welcome to eternity or something.
Because we start off with the Course in Miracles, but we can add some of this avant-garde esoteric, which is I don't like the word avant-garde esoteric, but we can add some of that because you know what? I think Spirit's saying anything that works. And these are truer than the narratives that were disempowering. All right, you guys, this is the end of the recording for Sunday, May 28th with Beloved, with Greg, with Mary, and with Jody. Thank you. Thank you all for being my messengers on a Sunday afternoon for Psychiatric Sobriety.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, please visit the website. It's all in the description. Even more than visiting the website, come support us on a Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Okay, that's it. God bless everyone.